Dantix here. Many of you are playing Anthem right now or very soon and are excited to hear all you can about the game. A ton of new information dropped in the latest developer livestream with Ben Irving and Chad Robinson. So this video will be summarizing that, talking about start times, grab it deaths, Colossus balances, bug fixes, control updates, loyalty rewards, and more. First, I have started another competition to win a copy of Anthem. Enter below. On my Discord, I have a section called Anthem Fashion. At release, be sure to submit your cool looking javelins to be featured in one of my videos, along with a section for fails and wins in Anthem, which I might choose to feature as well. I plan to make a ton of content come release, and this is your chance to get your name in one of my videos, or simply join and make sure you have a group come release, as I have 16,000 members and counting ready to go when Anthem drops. So when is the early access actually starting? Well, we now have a solid time. It's 9 AM Central Time. You guys just jump into Google and do the conversions there. But for Australians, I told you guys in my last video that we normally get the 1 AM to about 4 AM start times. Well, it's 1 AM for us, so yeah. No one cares about us. Anyway, everyone get cracking on the pre-download, which is now up and ready to start for all platforms. So I want to run through quickly some interesting facts. First, 44 million hours were played during the Anthem demo and 7 million grabbits were slaughtered. Honestly, I'm surprised it was only 7 million. Have you seen those guys up close? They have like insect mandibles. And I'm kind of sure they'd make a delicious Southern style gumbo. Now, what you've all been requesting, a way to sprint in Fort Tarsus, is here. Get used to it. Now, before you couldn't really get around at a reasonable pace. Chad mentioned that any faster than this sprint would look unnatural. Before you were restricted to the basic walk speed, and frankly, it felt really tedious to get around. My hope is with the sprint option, it won't be as bad checking in with the citizens of Fort Tarsus after every mission, because we know in BioWare games that is a necessity. Check out the personalization of this Colossus. The faceplate is especially cool. Basically looks like a mech now though, a little like D.Va from Overwatch. Almost every time we've seen a developer livestream, we've caught a glimpse of a javelin with different parts. So my hope is there's quite a lot to unlock and customize your javelin with, because frankly, there wasn't a lot in the demo. Now, we got a glimpse of the menu, specifically the journal and challenges section. Here we see the journal. It's broken down into critical objectives, which are your main missions, the story objectives. Then there are agent quests. These are quests you get from different faction representatives, and they really function like side missions. Then we have agent contracts. These are the contracts you get from the boards around the fort, with the most powerful being legendary contracts, which are difficult to have some great loot rewards. Then there are stronghold related missions, and finally, feats. No word on feats just yet, but I assume these will be milestones your character can achieve and not some kind of sick fetish. Now, we're looking at the challenges page, which is sectioned off into 11 menu items. The first is for the challenge you are choosing to track, and tracking a challenge makes a note of it while you're out in the world on the right side of your screen. So if you've gotten like 30 out of 100 SMG kills, it'll pop it for you there in the right. So the devs select the factions challenges, and we see it's broken up into submenus for Arcanist, Sentinel, and Freelancer loyalty. These are the 3 factions in the game, and most of the missions you do will result in loyalty for one of these at least. Then, if we dive deeper, we see what rewards we're on path to unlock with level 3 of the Arcanists. You get rewarded with a ton of uncommon, rare, and epic sigil blueprints for all weapon types. This means you'll be able to craft all of those weapons for as long as you have the resources for them, as blueprints are permanent to the account and don't disappear after use. You also unlock the bronze, brass, and copper material types for your javelin, and this is in the personalization section. It seems loyalty is going to play a huge role in Anthem, as these rewards are quite substantial. Now, it might be leftover text here, but it seems most sigil blueprints actually can be used to craft any rarity type, not just uncommon, rare, and epic. You'll be able to use them to make masterwork and legendary as long as you have the materials for them. It's only some blueprints that are restricted to rarity. In Ben Irving's words, they are rarity agnostic. Next, the developers have stated they have made quite a few more quality of life improvements, one of which is HDR settings for PC players. This was a requested feature, along with a slider for camera shake. Camera shake helps with immersion, but some players get motion sickness from it, so I'm sure it's going to be a welcome addition. One of my favorite additions and most requested one is a change to the Start Expedition screen. Before it would go through a confusing menu, now you start by picking the game mode you want to play in. You choose your track mission or pick a new mission. You can choose free play, strongholds, or finally, an easy to choose quick play option. Quick play benefits the most from this, as before it was hidden away behind a button press within a menu. I feel like this screen will make the experience much cleaner and easier for new players, as well as making it quicker for fans. So after Ben chooses quick play, it throws you into the familiar menu where you can invite a squad, put on consumables, change the difficulty and start. Overall, much more intuitive system, and I'm glad it was changed. Now this wasn't shown, but the devs confirmed that Grandmaster 2 and 3 are going to be in the release, and they're harder than they were before, not that any of you got to play it, regardless of the toned down percentages that we've already seen. Basically, they found telling you the percentages was confusing, and they've cleaned that whole system up, as well as adding little guides to what gear you'll get per difficulty. This will help us all, as it was a little bit confusing before, and gear is a very important part of the game, so knowing what to expect sets the right tone. A small but cool change is now you can see the enemies off screen by looking at the compass at the top. Red dots highlight where they are. Before, you could kind of get disorientated finding where enemies were in the middle of the battle. This should help a bit and provide a way of tracking down the stragglers in a fight. The Colossus felt to many in the demo a bit underpowered. Let me tell you, a geared Colossus really is not underpowered at all. It felt that way because people didn't really get to fully gear up in the demo, and there wasn't much available. So to make it feel better, the devs have tuned the early and mid-game balance with the Colossus, making it feel better without gear. The idea is to make the journey easier, but not make the top end stronger. If you're playing with someone fun in free play, you can invite them to your squad while in game. This is just a small thing you probably didn't know you could do in free play. I touched on the party widget in my exclusive footage video, but here it is again. The further you get away from a teammate, the thinner the pizza slice gets, the closer, the fatter, and it points to where they are relative to you. It also shows their health and other points of interest about them. Much needed, as really you feel the absence of this in the demo. Speaking of demo, many of you ran into the audio bug where your sound would just cut out during a big battle and you'd have to play the whole mission without it. Well, that's been fixed. Thankfully, as the sound is super important to my experience and I hated that bug. Another problem in the demo was around echoes. Some players wouldn't realize they had them and would stand around not handing them in, or others would hold onto them to troll. Now, if you don't drop them off within a minute, they turn red and despawn, reappearing where you collected them originally. The same applies to relics, where people would crash or log off holding them and then the mission wouldn't be able to be completed. Now, they'll just respawn where they were originally. Another issue people had was with the PC controls. Negative acceleration has been fixed, meaning that aiming should feel better. Also, swim and flight lag has been tuned, and there are a ton of fine-tuned options for them in the menu. This means you should be able to find a perfect balance to make it feel as smooth as the controller or smoother. There are options to turn off mouse acceleration too if it still doesn't feel good. If a snap to center option is requested, they also might consider adding it. Finally, they talked a bit about cataclysms. Mostly, they don't want to call it a raid, they prefer aspirational content. It'll be the hardest content in the game, taking massive coordination with the team, however, it will have the best rewards. That sounds like a raid to me. I guess they don't want to call it a raid because there's an arbitrary number tied in with that term, and they're yet to tell us how many people can participate. I still assume it'll be 4. Finally, I want to quickly mention again that the director of District 9 and that cool Halo 3 short film has made a live action Anthem trailer or film, and it's going live very, very soon, just as early access releases. You can see more on his studio's YouTube page, Oats Studios. Right now, there's a countdown and a bit of a teaser trailer and people discussing it, so take a look. It looks fantastic, and I'm sure we're in for a treat.
Swims through your mind.
So thank you for sticking around this long. I appreciate all the support, guys. Like, comment, share, and subscribe to help me out and join the community. Before I forget, be sure to stay tuned to my Twitter, as I may be giving away some cool metallic Anthem posters very soon. Really, just follow my Twitter for everything Anthem if you haven't already. I post so much there. Thanks to everyone joining the channel and supporting on Patreon. I'll be back with more content direct from Early Access very soon.